This Saturday, Games Workshop will be announcing all their new releases for this holiday season. The Saw movie franchise is getting its own board game, and Mr. Beast is a board game champion. All this and more in this week's Tabletop News. I am the Chaos Cultist, and you are watching Hobby Night. Allow me to address the elephant in the room before we continue with the news. Where is Angela? We have decided to allow for Angela to have more time to work on actual hobby projects, live streams, and just more enjoyable content. I will be handling the news presentations for a little while just to see how that works out for us in the scheduling. So do forgive me if I am a little nervous, I suppose is the correct way to put it. I have not hosted solo on YouTube in quite a number of years, but with that out of the way, make sure that you tune in this Saturday because Angela will be hosting the Warhammer Day live stream watch-along that we will be hosting here on the channel. Now, we are going to be starting the stream at 5:30 a.m. Pacific time, 5:30 a.m. our time. That is 8:30 a.m. on the East Coast, and you can figure out your time from there. The actual stream from Games Workshop will then begin at 6 a.m. our time, or 9 a.m. on the East Coast, and we're going to be taking a look at all the new announcements that they have planned for Warhammer 40k, Age of Sigmar, and the Old World, which is something they've kind of emphasized as maybe actually being a focus of this upcoming Warhammer Day. I'm not going to get my hopes up about it, but at the same time, it does feel like we've been going through 2 years of very slow teases about the Old World, so I would very much appreciate seeing the starter set. I think there's been some potentially rumored leaks around what could be contained within that set, and it would be great to actually get full confirmation. But once again, if you want to check that out with Angela, and I'll be floating around somewhere as well, check out the channel this upcoming Saturday, October 14th at 5:30 a.m. Pacific, the things we do for you guys, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, or your local equivalent. Alright folks, I thought we would go ahead and take a moment and take a look at the upcoming releases from Games Workshop, mostly because if Angela was here, she would have to talk about this beautiful, beautiful cover art of the Warhammer Horus Heresy Exemplary Battles of the Age of Darkness book. So we're looking at a rulebook for some of those very epic narrative moments. I don't know if we're actually going to have, like, I'd assume we'd have the rules in here for, like, the duel between Guilliman and Fulgrim, and sort of those, like, rules for how to host, the Istvan drop site massacre. That would be something both very dark and very cool as someone who has been a big fan of the Horus Heresy novels in the past. Of course, we have the equivalent of Combat Patrol, I guess it'd be Combat Patrol equivalents. It's just Horus Heresy's at a bigger scale than Warhammer 40k. Lots of tactical boys. They have the new helmets. I don't mind the Iron Warrior helmets. Of course, Iron Within, Iron Without. But I am forever partial to the Beakies. Just something. That being said, that is a... What do you think goes through the Space Marine's head? Other than shockwaves of vibrations from, the guns. This is what happened to Troa Barton after old age got him, I'm afraid. He had a terrible, terrible circus accident, and this is what ended up with Troa. Quite a pity. And then, of course, we have a few other bits. We have the torture rack case, which I know Angela spent a good chunk of time talking about last time. And you know what? I'm just going to stop beating around the bush. They are reprinting Rogue Trader First Edition, ladies and gentlemen. You were wondering, why are we talking about the upcoming releases from Games Workshop? We never talk about the upcoming releases from Games Workshop. This just seems completely unnecessary. It's your first time. Why are you doing this? Because they are republishing the original Rogue Trader rulebook, and I am very excited for this. It's going to be print on demand, so it's going to be available starting on Monday, October 23rd, and it will ship sometime within 6 months is what they're saying, so good luck to me getting one. My understanding is that these are/were possible to get from Warhammer World in Britain, so if you happen to be there, you might be able to pick it up from there, but otherwise, for those of us who live in North America or elsewhere, this is the opportunity to get a book that hasn't been published in 40 years, maybe? Very excited. JoyToy has returned with 2 new sets of Imperial heroes to fight the forces of chaos. As you can imagine, I'm quite upset about this, but they're very cool looking. The first set is a series of Blade Guard veteran from the Dark Angels, White Consuls, and I'll tell you the other chapter in a moment. Oh, they are handsome. The details on... I have one of these with the Relic Shield, and they are really awesome accessories. Obviously, they look really good for 40k figures, of course, but they're also the right scale that for certain, like, Gundam or other types of mecha figures, they also work on those, which can create some cool photo opportunities. So, yes... excellent detail on the back. I love the weathering that they are doing into these recessed regions, particularly on the backpack. It gives it a little bit of that heat wear you would expect on the power pack. But yes, as I said, we are seeing them from the Salamanders was the other chapter. Forgive me, with all the hype around the current animation, you think I would have remembered that. So, yes. Love that sword. My captain for the Hobby Knights actually has a flaming sword. Similar to that, a little darker at the tip, but love the glowing eyes on the skulls on the shield. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's not the coolest thing that they announced. Because, ladies and gentlemen, Cadia Stands. I'm also keeping the music muted. Yeah, 'cause it's just the same music. Look at that chonky fist. Look at that cigar. This sergeant, I think that's what 3 chevrons means. If not, forgive me, correct me in the comments. But he looks like a badass. Look at those. I just blanked on what they're spats. Are those called spats? Might have that wrong. Those look awesome. I love the detail work in the crevasses of his uniform. Good weathering there. And something I really noticed on these faces. And it was interesting because the faces struck me because I've been used to looking at our Kriegsguardsmen who all have gas masks. So I'm not used to seeing human, faces on these figures. But my goodness. Like, the quality of the facial sculpt is just great. They go for very deep, expressions so they can get that. But it's something that I wasn't used to because I'm so used to either Space Marine helmets or Krieg's gas masks that it was just a, welcome surprise for me. And the other JoyToy lines, I'm sure, have great sculpted faces because they do humans, but I'm not used to seeing it. Sculpted banner. I know if Angela was here, she'd be losing her crap for that, because it is nice. You can sort of see it there at the edges. All of these are lifted elements from the actual banner itself. How does it fly in the wind? With faith in the Emperor, of course. Simple. But yes, these figures are gorgeous. And JoyToy, we can't wait to see what you have for us in the future. I know that Giant Dread Knight is coming.
Hey guys. I just wanted to jump into the video to remind you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, especially if you're enjoying the content that you find here. And if you're into the spicier side of the hobby, well, my Only Fanatics VIP page is currently 50% off through the end of the month for new subscribers. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, use the link in the video description below, and I hope to see you there. Now let's go ahead and get back to the video.
It is October, so why not have some spooky game news? And Eschenspiel was this past weekend, and we will have more news covering that next week. But something that sort of caught our eye that was tied to the holidays was Saw, the Jigsaw Trials. We don't really know a whole lot about this game yet, other than it is going to be going to Kickstarter in about 3 weeks. I actually think 3 weeks from when this news video goes live. And it looks, I admit, kind of interesting. The character you will be playing will have these interesting character boards with different pull-away parts for, of course, your different body parts, potentially organs, who knows? It's the Jigsaw Trials. We can play a game. I didn't start the segment by going, do you want to play a game? And that just feels like a missed opportunity. Let me know. But otherwise, it does look like similar to a lot of like hero-focused adventure games I think we've seen in the last decade, but with all of the blood and viscera that you would expect from a Saw IP game. You will, of course, play as the characters from the movie. Here's the honest truth. I have seen like 6 of the Saw movies, I think it is, 5 or 6 of them. I couldn't tell you much of the plot other than I know Jigsaw was dying and his entire revenge thing, like at a high level. But in regards to how Hamish ties into it or his different disciples, I don't know. Maybe I'll play the game. Maybe I'll learn. We could find out. Once again, the most interesting thing to me is really these character sheets, which is not enough to carry a game by itself. So we'll see when we get to learn some more details in 3 weeks' time. Alright, I'm not going to waste your time with this for very long, but Mr. Beast is apparently a very good Dune Imperium player, or at least the best Dune Imperium player from invitees to this recent Dune Imperium Uprising pre-release tournament. I haven't been able to find many details about this. It does not appear to have happened at Eschenspiel. But this past week, Mr. Beast participated in a Dune Imperium Uprising tournament, won first place. I'm assuming the $10,000 went to realistically a charity and or the first student he ran into that was subscribed to him. I'm not really sure. But all in all, I'm not at all jealous that he is a prize money winning strategy gamer with tens of millions of YouTube subscribers. I'm not jealous at all. Ladies and gentlemen, for our final news story this week, I want to touch on something that's very important. You see, Eschenspiel, as I mentioned previously, was this past weekend, and Big Potato Games did something that I cannot abide by. You see, ladies and gentlemen, this is Spudley. Spudley here is the mascot for Big Potato Games. And Big Potato Games, of course, known for their famous games such as Chicken versus Hot Dog. Everyone knows it, everyone loves it, of course you do. However, I cannot allow this lie to persist. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a spud. This is not even a chip. This is a pancake. I broach to you, good viewers, that Spudley, mascot for Big Potato Games, is nothing but a charlatan and a liar, masquerading as a starchy snack when in fact he is a breakfast good. I think we need to hold game companies accountable to this kind of tomfoolery. That's going to be it for this week in Hobby News, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Do be sure to come and check out the live stream that we will be doing during the Warhammer Day this Saturday. It will be beginning for us at 5:30 in the morning, 5:30 a.m. Pacific time, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, and then so that's the time we're going to start live streaming, and then the actual event will start 30 minutes later, 6 a.m. on the West Coast and 9 a.m. on the East Coast. So do be sure to check out the channel then. Otherwise, I do want to thank our patrons. Thank you so much for helping us make content like this. As Angela says every week, we would not be doing this without you, so thank you so very much. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I have been the Chaos Cultist, and I hope you have a wonderful hobby night.